Have you gone live?
Yep.
Okay. We're live? I've got to...
Checking the feeds now. Should be up.
What's up, everyone? How we doing? It is Thursday here, Thursday morning in Australia, in Sydney time. How are we all today, tribe? I've got my new work from home office set up here, and I'm kind of like just trying to get used to it all. My camera's in a different spot. I got my monitors in different spots, so you have to excuse me because I'm just trying to get my bearings and make sure that that I can see the live stream. Give us a holler. Say, yeah, Richie. I think we're in the 12-month.
Yeah, my computer's doing that weird thing where it doesn't change the settings. So give me one sec.
What a shame.
We are live to YouTube, but not Facebook. So give me a couple moments to sort that out.
So how are we, everyone? Everyone on YouTube, we've got a great show for you guys. We excuse me. We're going to be talking about some real grassroots stuff here today. It's about getting the basics right, and we have a lot of new people coming in to the UMS Movement Mastermind Facebook group. If you didn't know what that is, that's where we offer free coaching. So we have some of our most popular programs in there for free: the 20-minute flexibility routine, the 10-minute warm-up routine, and we provide coaching for people so people can post videos and get feedback from us. So if you haven't joined that group yet, jump on over to Facebook, search UMS Movement Mastermind, and jump in it. Now, today I just want to talk about really the importance of, because so many people are coming in for flexibility. You know, they're coming in because they've seen our ads on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. They've seen our videos on YouTube and they want to get flexible. And one of the biggest misconceptions about flexibility training is that it is about stretching your muscles, like your muscles are tight. And what it's actually much more about is strength through range of motion. So developing strength at your end ranges of motion. And there's a lot of ways that we use, there's a lot of different methods that we use to achieve that goal. But it's very, very different to the typical static stretching, isn't it, Richie? Like the kind of stuff that we were probably taught, you know, back in high school, of just sort of reach forward and touch your toes for 30 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, it's far from the relaxing sort of stretch that you sort of get told to do to get flexible. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it is, isn't it? Like the flexibility training that we do is a lot more like a strength workout, isn't it? You know, it's like it fatigues you. You know, you get DOMs from it sometimes. You have to do sets and reps of it, but it works. You know, when you like, I did the old type of stretching for almost 2 decades. You know, through all my martial arts training, and I got mediocre results at best. And then when we started learning from some real experts in flexibility, like for me, the biggest impact that I had on my training was Joachim Hilderson. He's a coach over in Belgium that I worked with for a year, who taught me some incredible stuff. Check him out on Instagram. I'm pretty sure his handle on Instagram is at Hilderson Joachim. And it was just so different to the type of stretching that we'd all done before that was just doing nothing for us. And it is much more like strength training, like using weights and stuff, you know, things like, loaded lifts and Jefferson curls and things like that. Huh? It's really different to the stuff that we used to do.
Yeah, the whole, I think, method and intention behind what you're doing in that position is like vastly different. Like when you think of a passive stretch, like of a hamstring or something, like you're bending forward, you're holding the stretch and you're just sort of like relaxing into it, just sort of waiting for that pain to ease, waiting for that discomfort to ease. But with this sort of type of mobility or flexibility training, it's like intentionally contracting a muscle. You're thinking about where to squeeze, how long to squeeze for, how many reps and sets to do. So it's very much like strength training, and probably further away from actually stretching than you think. But it is what you'd
Yeah.
call flexibility training because it is making you more flexible.
Yep. Yep. But the way and the reason why it works so well is because flexibility is actually, it's not about making your muscles loose and flexible. The muscles are already loose and flexible. They're very malleable. Um, what it is, it's about releasing the inhibitors or delaying when the inhibitors from the brain kick in to protect itself. So the brain has all these inbuilt inhibitors that basically prevent joints from going to a range of motion that's dangerous. Because when a joint gets to its true end range of motion and then tries to get pulled past that, there's a lot of problems that you can have. Like you can dislocate joints, you can, tear ligaments and tendons and stuff. Really nasty stuff. So we're very lucky and fortunate that we have these inhibitors. Like I shouldn't say lucky; it's just the way that our bodies work, right?
Mm.
But the idea is that with the through the way that we live our lives, unfortunately, like things like sitting all the time, like never developing strength through full range, like developing strength in limited ranges of motion, you can actually reduce that range of motion that you had. So a lot of people talk about how they used to be flexible when they were younger and they've just lost it now because the brain starts to perceive that it has less of a range of motion and these inhibitors kick in earlier. So what happens is, like, for example, if I try and lift my arm up to here, like shoulder flexion like this, and the inhibitors kick in there, that's my brain going, okay, I feel that if I'm going to go to here, that I'm actually going to injure myself. We're going to have an injury here. So I'm going to, restrict the movement by tightening up all the muscles when we get to here. Okay. And by stretching, by just, doing the typical type of stretching that we were talking about, that doesn't teach the brain that this is a safe range of motion that you're trying to do. On the contrary, developing strength in that end range. So again, if we get up to here and we develop strength here, so not about developing strength where you've already got it here, but developing strength up here, that is what increases your range of motion and your flexibility. And it's really effective, and it's just so different to what people think, and it makes people feel like a real beginner because when you start doing end range strength for the first time and strength through full range, it's quite humbling, isn't it, Richard?
Definitely. It's some of the stretches that we do for the shoulders can make you feel like an infant, just totally incapable of doing a certain position. They are so extremely hard, and it's it can be demoralizing, like the level of or the lack of flexibility of your range. But everyone goes through it, and just like anything, the first time you do it, or the first few times you do it, it's very overwhelming. But once you get into sort of like a regular framework of training like that, then you start to see little bits of progress over time, and you can sort of really see where it's going.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's if you want to know more about this, this is some of the big things that we cover in the 5-day flexibility challenge, which is a complimentary way that you can work with me and Richard and the team at Unity Gym to learn about this stuff. We're doing our next one's on starting Monday, the 7th of March. So if you want to go deeper into this, we really talk about the modern methods of flexibility that work. And I think where a lot of the problem um, I think a lot of the problem is that people have is that they look to people that got flexible as kids for methods that would work for them. And in my personal experience, um, I haven't like I've tried them like I've got learnt from people that were so flexible and they just said, "Oh, just do this," and it's these types of stretching methods that I put in years, even decades of work in, and just got nowhere with. And so many people I've spoken to have had the same results. Whereas when you look at the methods that we're talking about, they're very, very different to what I've been taught by people that got flexible because they were a child gymnast or because they've been doing martial arts since they were 8 years old or whatever it is. And Yeah, I think that's one of the big problems that people have. What do you reckon, Richie?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading the comments that are coming through on YouTube. We've got
Yep.
Antonio on the live chat saying, "What are our thoughts on plyometrics?"
Well, the
And
first, yeah,
yeah, keep going on. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. Go. You can say. You can say.
Yeah, and he's also saying something that's really true, and he's saying the true fitness community needs to treat mobility like strength training, aka weighted and strengthening the muscles. But most people rely on foam rollers instead, and that's very true. We sort of aim to use these sort of external tools to think or to try to get more flexible. And when in reality, it's just this. Yeah, it's more strength work really at those end ranges, like you're saying.
Yeah. So look. I mean, my thoughts on plyometrics, Antonio. That's it, like, unfortunately, that's a really off topic for this show question. Yeah, they have their place. They can be great if you use them the right way. And yeah, the knees over toes guy. Never worked with him before. Know of him. Have seen his stuff. Looks great. He's a highly respected person. Um, I would just say though, when you say they use foam rollers instead, sad. We use foam rollers very effectively. I would definitely not discount foam rollers. Again, it's a different topic though, but everything has its place if you know how to use it properly. Even static stretching that we're really paying out on here, it has its place. There is a place for it. Like Richard and I at times will do static stretching. It's just that it's such a small part of the picture,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's certainly not what we use to increase our flexibility, isn't it, Richie?
Yeah, I think yeah, you're definitely right. I think what we've been saying right now is coming across as very one-sided when it comes to how you should stretch always. Like you definitely have different methods of stretching, and static stretching does have its place. And it comes down to largely like what you're doing with your programming as well, because you can't do loaded or end range stretching all the time. It's just very taxing on the body, like you said, like strength work. So if you're already doing strength work because of a sport or physique goals, then adding that type of stretching into your program, yeah, you need to place it properly. You need to do the right forms of stretching at the right time. Otherwise, yeah, you can definitely do things the wrong way, end up injuring yourself, overtraining, and then yeah, just not getting anywhere really.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, look, as I said before, if you're on YouTube and you want to know more about this stuff, you can come over to the UMS Movement Mastermind Facebook group and get our free 20-minute flexibility routine, and also come and join the 5-day flexibility challenge. They're both complimentary and great ways to get started or take your training even further. Hope you got something out of that, everybody, and we will see you again tomorrow for another great show.